Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something really fun. We are going to use curated playlists to literally time travel through the epic 6-decade journey of arguably the greatest rock and roll band in the world. We're unpacking this incredible, wild history using the actual music that shaped it as our guide. So let's get into it. We're going to see exactly how these defiant troublemakers, the guys behind that definitive, iconic lips and tongue logo, how they evolved from playing tiny, smoke-filled underground clubs in 1960s London to just unleashing massive, mind-blowing stadium spectacles, leaving literally all their peers in the dust. They became the absolute holy grail of rock mythology. And today, we're going to figure out exactly how they did it. It all started with a totally chance meeting, when Mick Jagger and Keith Richards serendipitously crossed paths at a train station in the early 60s. Neither of them could have predicted the sheer phenomenon they were about to ignite. That one brief interaction sparked this intense creative chemistry, totally fueled by their shared devotion to gritty, American Chicago Delta blues and R&B that was just roaring from across the Atlantic. To help you navigate their massive catalog without getting lost, we're using a fun time machine framework today. We'll hit 5 distinct geological-themed eras that'll act as your map: the Eolithic or early years, the Paleolithic, their evolution and prime, the Mesolithic, Middle Ages, the Neolithic, covering the last 3 decades, and finally, the Megalithic era, focusing entirely on their live shows. Okay, so let's dive into this timeline, which covers an immense 60-year span. Think about that. This journey has seen a huge evolution, not just in their sound, but in the actual people making it. We go from the original 1960s core of Jagger, Richards, and guitar genius Brian Jones to Mick Taylor jumping in by 69, Bill Wyman's retirement in 93, and of course the tragic passing of their legendary drummer Charlie Watts in 2021. Looking at that rotating cast of absolutely stellar musicians over the decades, you can clearly see the distinct eras of Brian Jones, Mick Taylor, and Ron Wood on guitar. But through it all, the band has always been driven by the vital, unbroken partnership of Jagger and Richards. They are the constant anchor in this wild ride. All right, let's step into era number 1, the Eolithic, or the early years. Now, a really crucial point here is that they didn't just hatch as global superstars. Not at all. They began essentially as a sweaty, incredibly raw blues cover band. They just wanted to capture the essence of idols like Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters. It was this hunger to celebrate outsider music that the British mainstream totally shunned. But man, did they pivot quickly, transitioning into writing these original counterculture anthems that completely channeled the radical spirit of the times. If you really want to dip into this era and hear that crazy rapid progression, here's your mini playlist. You've got to hear their gritty, unpolished Chicago blues style on Route 66 from their debut album. Then, listen to them literally adapt that blues into early rock with Time Is On My Side. And finally, check out their pivotal 1966 album Aftermath with Under My Thumb, which really highlights this massive leap toward much more eclectic rock and complex arrangements. Moving right along to the Paleolithic era, their evolution and absolute prime. Spanning from roughly 1968 through the early 70s, this era marks their sort of dark, satanic prime. As a gritty alternative to the happy talk of the Summer of Love, they harvested an unthinkable stylistic bounty. Seriously, they produced these raw, politically charged records with super gritty textures that perfectly captured the cultural zeitgeist. They went back to their blues roots, but expertly fused them with country and folk, just creating this unbelievably rich tapestry of sound. Your masterclass playlist for this golden era absolutely must include these specific tracks. Sympathy for the Devil from Beggars Banquet is a raw, politically charged return to form. Gimme Shelter from Let It Bleed perfectly reflects the dark, turbulent themes of the late 60s. And Brown Sugar from Sticky Fingers? Man, that shows their incredible fusion of rock, blues, and just a hint of country. This is the era that cemented them as the true avatars of cool. Which brings us to Era 3, the Mesolithic, the Middle Ages. Pushing into the late 70s and 80s, we witness a band that doesn't just adapt to a changing musical landscape, they actually help shape it. During this time, they acted as absolute musical chameleons. They stayed anchored in guitar rock, sure, but they chased inspiration down whatever alley it led them. They explored locking funk pounds, ventured into reggae and jazz, and yes, even embraced massive disco beats, always alchemizing those trendy sounds into something eternally, recognizably Stones, before stripping it back to basic rock in the late 80s. To hear them alchemize these genres for yourself, cue up Hot Stuff from Black and Blue to hear their funky reggae experiments.
Then, throw on Emotional Rescue to really experience their dance floor phase. And finally, you've got to blast the iconic riff of Start Me Up from Tattoo You to hear them brilliantly revisit their pure, unadulterated rock and roll swagger. It's incredibly fascinating to juxtapose these eras side by side. Just think about their Eolithic origins, hammering out raw, unpolished blues covers in super simple studios, and compare that to the Mesolithic and Neolithic eras, which feature these highly produced genre-bending experiments. It just proves they possess the sheer longevity and talent to transcend whatever happens to be rocking at the present moment. Next up, Era 4, the Neolithic, covering the last 3 decades. Entering the modern chapters of their recording odyssey, from the 1990s all the way to today, this era has definitely seen a slowdown in original material. But despite tragedies, the loss of key members, and those infamous ongoing feuds between Mick and Keith, you know the ones, they managed to navigate all the distractions. Through continuous sonic exploration and mounting just unbelievably massive stadium tours, they fiercely maintained their mantle as the greatest rock band in the world. And the music from this era still packs a massive punch. Tracks like Love is Strong from their Grammy-winning Voodoo Lounge show this incredible, fresh energy. Just Your Fool from Blue and Lonesome is a beautiful, direct homage to their deepest blues roots. And their recent hit Angry from Hackney Diamonds, that just proves that their creative spirit and drive to push boundaries remains completely undiminished today. Finally, we hit Era 5, the Megalithic. Stones Lie. Now, this era isn't actually a chronological time period at all. It's the explosive live arena where all these genres beautifully and sometimes violently collide. Because beyond their studio shapeshifting, the Stones built their true legend on the stage. For all the personal volatility behind the scenes, when the lights went up, a literal chemical reaction occurred. They produced this chaotic dynamism that crackled with energy and viscerally connected with millions of fans worldwide. This is where you really hear the sweat and the snarls. It's those arterial spray guitar shootouts that bridge the massive gap between their intimate club origins and their global satellite broadcast spectacles. It's right here, on stage, where they prove they can still rock a stadium crowd with the exact same ferocious fervor as they did back in the day. You've got to add these specific live recordings to your playlist to truly understand the relentless bombast of the quintessential live rock band. You need Time Is On My Side from their 65 Live album for that raw early charisma. The electrifying 9-minute version of Midnight Rambler from Get Your Yayas Out is absolutely essential. Check out Wild Horses from Stripped for some intimate acoustic depth, and Gimme Shelter from Havana Moon to witness their unceasing, absolute stadium showmanship. So, now that you have this decades-traversing map to navigate their massive discography and specific curated playlists to guide your discovery, the only thing left to ask is, which era of the Stones' perpetual motion will you dip into first? Will you start by unearthing their gritty, sweat-soaked Eolithic club days? Or jump straight into the megalithic stadium spectacles that forever redefined what a rock concert could be?